Hey everybody, it's Party Elite with a beginner's guide to Total War Warhammer. In this video, I want to talk about baiting your enemy into an ambush. This is something you can do on the campaign map as well using stances, though trying it on the battlefield is a bit more involved. Naturally, knowing how to bait the enemy means knowing how to spot bait yourself. When playing against a human opponent, this might be a little harder, though I've tempted many a greedy or opportunist general into losing their mid-tier units. First things first, divide your army into bait and trap. The bait will pull your enemy into the trap. Typically, I find low-level sacrificial units work well enough, though I find using a few mid-tier units works better. They're able to hold their own while they wait for the trap to spring, they're less likely to rout before it's sprung, and they also look like a juicier target, so they're more likely to bait the enemy general. Ranged units in skirmish mode work great as well. Send them ahead to harass the enemy, and when a unit is dispatched to kill your skirmishers, they'll keep running away. Make sure they run in the right direction, and if you're lucky, the enemy will chase them right into your trap. Finally, rather than using individual units as bait, you can use an exposed flank or an easy target in your core army. This tends to be the most convincing, and the opponent will usually try to target that exposed flank thinking it's a mistake. Show them that you don't make mistakes. The trap will ideally consist of fast-moving and quick-to-engage units. These are two different things. Fast-moving is anything that can get to the enemy quickly, typically cavalry, and quick to engage is any unit that can actually start hurting the enemy soonest, in other words, ranged units. The introduction of magic adds a new method of trapping. A few good spells on an enemy unit that bit the bait can mean a rout without losing too many lives. Magic casters also count as quick to engage. Now, it's important to do both, in my opinion. What is the point of setting an elaborate trap that doesn't really hurt the enemy? Ranged units can trickle damage into the enemy units, which will help significantly, but locking the enemy in place with a strike from the sides or rear will almost always seal the deal. When activating the trap, consider possible reactions that your opponent might have. What if they disengage right away? Are you far enough away to account for that? Make sure you have room to adjust, and make sure that you're not being set up for a trap yourself. Did you just surround a bunch of the enemy's expendable units with your own high-end units, creating a nice clumped-up target for enemy artillery or a dwarven bombing run? Baiting and trapping enemy units is an attempt to rout units in the hopes of causing a mass rout, or quickly thinning out the enemy army. Strike fear into the hearts of your enemy, especially those foolish enough to be baited in. Worth noting, a trap can be at any scale on the battlefield, a small engagement in a forest or a massive flanking maneuver. With these tips in mind, you should be able to spot bait as well. Learn to identify when you're being pulled into an engagement, and make sure to disengage your units or stop them in their tracks. That backspace key is great for halting an order. This takes a lot of practice, particularly in terms of timing charges and movements, but it helps minimize your losses and maximize your efficiency. Kill as many of the enemy while losing as few of your own. Bait needs to act like a weak and easy target. You need to keep up that charade, and that's what being a great general is about. For more tips and tricks, subscribe to this channel, and if there's something you'd like to see covered, let me know in the comments below.